We got kicked out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We just now started. What?
Oh, wow. Okay,
Well,
that's
here.
weird. I'm sorry, guys.
I don't know what happened. Here, we're gonna do it again. Let's start over again.
We never went live, huh?
It said we went live. It said live.
Hey, well, so this is the second time we've done the intro. And unfortunately, for some reason, it went live and then it wasn't live. It just said we're live when we're already live, like for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. We hit live. We did an intro. We did the whole thing. We were actually talking to you guys, and all of a sudden, it just said not live. So that was the weirdest thing ever. So awesome. Well, like I was saying earlier, I'm happy to do these. These are being fun again.
Yeah, and I was saying it started feeling like a job there for a while, and now it's like more feeling like, I don't know, we get recess at school,
Yeah.
But I do like doing these on Wednesday nights.
And I'm going to go back with this today. Tonight, we're going to be talking about all the stuff that goes into here, and bringing that up. And Dallas said something a little earlier about the 950. Bring that up again, because I'm going to say that again.
Oh, well, you were saying all the parts, and I said, hey, can we talk about the parts in there yet? And you said, yeah. And I said, well, my most favorite part in there so far is the 950 VRS E85 carburetor that I see. So,
and if you're a longtime listener to this, you know that I kind of already maybe sort of spilled the beans on that on accident, but I didn't really say yes, but I didn't really say no, and I almost said it yes. So, apologize. But it's out. It's there. So we're going to talk about that. So now with that, now we can actually go through Dallas. Go and greet all these.
Yeah, I'll run through the list again. And now that the list is growing, so it maybe people will start chiming in. That was the thing where we realized the show was no longer live after we'd already went live. Was that all the chat stopped? Yeah. SSR Performance was here at 9:09 a.m. So they were waiting. James and James. Well, James. Just the James show now, but yeah, they were waiting at 9:09. LP94, Danny Boyd, One-Eyed Cat, Kerosene Cucumbers, the most rockinest name on YouTube. Bruce Cultgen, Buff Del Campo, Slant Daily Garage, What's Up Suckers? One-Eyed Cat, Fab Race Mod Repeat, hello from the Speed Oasis lair. Yeah, Miss Cat G, Unity Motorsports Garage, Andy is in the house. Dizzy Izzy, Mean Street Mopar, Levi's Backyard Performance is ringing the bell from Indiana. Clint Street Machines is shaking us down. Hello, peoples. Tom Brown is here tonight. Is that everyone? Clayton's Toolbox is in the house. Unfinished Project is here. Vintage Inventor drives. Hey, folks, I'm stuck in this chair with 2 kitty cats on my lap. That's fine. You can't go wrong having 2 of them, as long as it's not the cat that eats food. Oh, no, I'm kidding. All right. That's too many problems. Okay. Hot Rod Guy Garage. Russell is here. Hello, everyone. Mama M3 with the wrench. Hitting Dizzy Izzy with it. No, I'm kidding. Junkyard D. Michael Schmidt is here. Hello, all. Glad to be here on time for Wednesday Night Tech Talk. We were apparently not on time, so yeah, and we tried. Trust me.
Yeah,
that was the first time that's ever happened. KS Skyhawk is here. Good, but a bit late this evening. You're fine. You're right on time. We're just greeting everyone now. Bigfoots and Mopars, howdy. Let's see here. I don't see any new ones now. So I think that's it. So
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for stopping by for the weekly Wednesday night tech talk.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, it's been a week, and right now the whole SEMA is going on, and I just have no desire to ever go to SEMA again. I'm over it. I just don't have any desire to go to Vegas. So
Yeah.
I'm all about PRI. We were kind of talking about that a little earlier, but man, I'm telling you, PRI is where I like it because that's all the race car stuff. There's no booger weld like car show, cars, and it just doesn't have all that type of stuff. But PRI is just everything I want to see.
Right. Well, I'm right there with you. I mean, the SEMA cars, when they started showing up with no brake pads because they couldn't get them on in time or whatever, it was just like, man, they just cobble some trash together and throw it out there for everyone to see. And it's just all about the looks. I mean, literally, you remember in the 70s when they used to have the World of Wheels car shows that like all over the country, right? And they used to have the show cars, and then they had the rest of the cars that everybody else would drive in there and park, and you could look at them. And the cars that people drove in there never looked as good as the show cars. But then you found out the show cars never ran.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
They didn't have drive shafts in them. The transmission was completely empty and gutted. It was just for looks.
Yeah.
And I was never into that scene where it's all about how good something looks, right? I was always into about how good it runs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be at PRI. I think I'm going to be there Thursday and Friday. And I think I come back Saturday. So I'll be there Thursday and Friday.
Well, so Andrew Nelson's in the house, says good evening from Team Nivlac 57, and they are moving along with their 95 Camaro project. I was watching the video just, I think, yesterday, and fully raced 4.2, and they're in the 95 Camaro. So, and they're using an 8 HP 70. So, WAF Racing, who's that?
This is one of my buddies, man. He's he was in Six Smokies with me, and his name's Chris, and he builds all these like little like 3D printed things like for holding like spark plugs. I mean, he's really cool, man. And so I've been helping him out with. He's got a CUDA. I think it's I'm not familiar with what year it is, but he just bought an engine, and he's been. I'm helping him out. Let's just say he's going to be going much faster now. So I'm helping him out. He bought a small block with it's the next block on it. He's tearing it apart right now. And the plan is, as of right now, I'm probably going to be going up to his place and doing some measurement on some stuff because he's trying to get that thing ready for Sick Week, which is, I believe it's the end of January, beginning of February. So
yeah, it's like February normally.
Yeah. So he's got to get it together. And yeah, he's a cool dude, man. So go check him out. WAF Racing. He's got all kinds of stuff there. He's a cool dude, and yeah, go check him out.
Huh. Well, KS Skyhawk says, so happy I finally found my practice 350 Buick head, because remember he was looking for one to port.
Oh, yeah.
And he found it 30 miles from where he's at. So, all right. Well, I'm glad he's got a practice head so he can now port some heads.
That's awesome.
Clint Street Machine says, same here. SEMA kind of sucks. It's too big now.
It's not that it's too big. It's just that it's just, I don't know, man. It's just ridiculous, is what it is. It's not even. PRI is pretty large, because now they have like different campuses where you can go to, but it's just big enough to where in 3 days you finally get through it, and it's I don't know. I went to SEMA when I was with Crowder, and it was just I was like, I'm done with this. It was too much. It was more about the glitz and glamour than it was about like, hey, we're building some cool stuff to go racing. So, yeah.
Well, Vintage Adventure Drives at 710 said, unrelated to cars, I'm looking to buy a house. I'm pre-approved for a loan, and I'm looking at a house soon. Well, hey, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, as a starter home, where if you're a single dude starter home, there's nothing wrong with buying a nice piece of property that's like, say, 3 to 5 acres and put a freaking barndominium on there and have a man cave.
That's right. And live in a trailer inside the barndominium.
Yeah.
And just do it that way. If I could do it all over again, that's how I would. I lived in California when I first started buying homes. So it was a totally different scene there. But if I had to do it all over again, that's exactly what I would do.
And I was looking at that when I was going through the divorce, like, oh, if I don't get to keep my house, what am I going to do? So I was looking at like a big old barndominium, something big enough I could put a lift in and have like 2, maybe 3 bays. But what my plan was, I was going to leave one wall open and slide a camper in there. And then essentially when the bad weather came, I was going to hook up and haul ass and go out. But if you're looking at something a little bit more permanent, you buy one that's like a single wide, like even a used one, but put it inside the barn dominium and then enclose the whole thing. And then you never have to worry about the roof again. All the plumbing is already there. Everything's already set up. And if it, like this says, goes to crap, your single wide is a POS, take that wall down, pull the whole thing out, insert new single wide. And that's it.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Tom Brown saying, WAF Racing, do you guys make a carb cover that still leaves room to change the metering rods on an Edelbrock? If so, put it down there. And what's funny, Buff Del Campo says that we know WAF. We bought some parts from him, and we've been showing them one of his 3D printed items on our live. So awesome. Yeah, he's a cool dude. And WAF is saying that, Tom, I've never honestly messed with that style Edelbrock carb. I'm not sure, probably something I need to check out. Dude, you know what? I'll send you a carburetor that's out of our recycle bin, and that way you'll have something to use.
Like
so yeah, I'll get it sent out tomorrow.
Yeah. Andrew Nelson says we'll be at PRI. So awesome. Fabrice Monrepiece asks, booger welding, is that like squeezing the piston? Not necessarily.
No. Booger welds when you don't have the temperature turned up hot enough, and it literally just makes these balls on the end of it. It doesn't really penetrate anything. It just kind of makes this almost like the sand sculptures. If you ever been to the beach, you take the wet sand and you go like that. That's kind of what booger welding looks like.
Oh, well, he knows. He's a metal fabricator, man.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
He is. Yeah. Andy says, I hope I can get some vacation for PRI. Let's see. Clint Street Machine says, I have a master's degree in booger welding.
Yeah. Well, we'll get, right here. It says, Michael Schmidt's asking real quick, rust removal juice. I have 3 to 5 6-inch wide spots of rust poking through the original paint roof on my 51 Plymouth. They're rust on the car. How do I make 6-inch spots look better, less rusty? I have this stuff that I got at O'Reilly's, and it's a gel that you put on the rust, and it literally turns it into primer. And I still have it. I'm not sure if they sell anymore, but I had it when I had a Volkswagen, and I still have some. But yeah, you just
Evaporust.
I think it's Evaporust. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, Evaporust works really good on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It literally stops it, turns it into just kills it. You can sand some of it off, and then you put that stuff on it, and it just turns it right into primer.
Yeah. Let's see. KS Skyhawk says that head will be what I used to practice porting. This was done following advice I got here on Wednesday night. So no problem, man. That's why that's why we do this.
Yeah. I was reading about that one earlier. Yeah. Except for Bloody Knuckles, mini fridge and beer, the door and the lock and remote TV. Exhaust fan. Yes, I don't have the exhaust fan yet, but you can see back here where it's not been insulated. I'm going to put some vents up there, and on the other side, I'm going to put an exhaust fan. That way it blows out. Yes. I almost.
Okay. Well, our performance is digging the E85 950 BRS. So
yeah. So let's talk about some of this stuff. Okay. So we're going to start on page 1. Page 1 is the new, I couldn't really talk about this, but this is the new E Street. This is our throttle. It's basically kind of like our EFI system, but it's like a throttle body type.
Yeah, it's like a sniper system, but it's the Edelbrock version.
And you know what's funny is that this was actually, we've been testing this one for a long time. And, here was what we had to combat. We took the Holly Sniper, we bought the Aces, we bought, all the popular ones, the really, we had about 15 or 20 of them. The MSD, which one was that? I think it's called the Atomic. What's funny is the one that was the hardest to beat was the old fast unit. Do you know that?
Yeah, that's what you were saying. I ended up with I think 4 or 5 of those throttle bodies.
Yeah. So that was actually the hardest one to beat. But I can tell you, once again, like I said on the VRS, this thing right here is amazing. When the VRS came out, this is the same type of thing. this right here, hands down, beat all of the competition. Now it's taken about 3.5 years of development to get the controller just right, because we wanted to make sure that it would run and beat everything. And this thing is really amazing. In fact, it has a whole data log system down below where
Hey,
you can have all your.
does it has your like new patented Edelbrock go through your phone kind of thing?
No, it's
Bluetooth
not.
deal?
I don't know if this one is Bluetooth. I'm not sure if they got that in there yet or not. I don't. Oh yeah, it is. It is a Bluetooth tuner. I apologize. Yes,
Yeah, that's where that would be that's the ticket right there. That's the leading edge.
Yeah, so it is a Bluetooth compatible, which is, if you've never done anything with the Bluetooth, I have it right here on my phone when I do my widebands. Whenever you watch some of my videos, they'll say flex capacitor flexing. It's literally one of these things. It's the fast unit that goes right on there, so I can test, and this is how it works. But we have this now for our for this. Also, we have it for the trans controllers now, the Bluetooth, which is, I'll be doing a demo on that stuff here soon. Not today, but probably the next week. It works awesome. So if you're in the market for one of those things, I can tell you right now, this is right up there with how awesome the VRS is. This is how awesome that is. The next one, this is the one that my buddy Dave that I worked with has been working on right here. So this is the new Victor LS XR Supercharger. This thing right here is a bad dog. This thing just kicks butt. It's amazing, and it also is done with the whole, you can see with all the Bluetooth everything, so that way you can show how everything. It's done with Smart Boost. It is. That thing is, we took an engine that made 650 horsepower, and then we were able to make 1,300 horsepower on it with very, very, very easy boost. It was not uncontrollable, and it was a simplistic type of bolt-on deal. So really an awesome deal, and it's super efficient. That's the whole thing about it.
Michael, so far, Mohawk62 says naval jelly and rust converter from O'Reilly's works great stopping rust and converting it to a primer. FYI, wear goggles or gloves. It will turn your fingers purple for days.
It does. Yes.
And then
it does.
Michael Schmidt says, what's the Bluetooth for related to the VRS? I don't get it. Is that a carb or a fuel injection? That's fuel injection.
Yes.
That's
but what I'm saying,
fuel injection setup that he's showing you. And the blower is for an LS based engine. So
what I was saying about the VRS is that when I was saying about how awesome the VRS was, and then before anyone got it, and then it went out there and it was proven, that's what I'm saying about this fuel injection thing. It is that awesome. It works amazing. So when it starts getting out into the market, you're going to start seeing a lot more people use it. That it's going to beat a lot of cars.
So Hot Rod Garage, Russell says that I have a hard time believing in aftermarket TBI systems. I've also dabbled with them. All be interesting to see how they do long term, but I'm glad Edelbrock's got into the game. It has to be better. But they originally were in the game under Fast, right? They owned Fast products. But what happened was a lot of the Fast stuff got outdated because they had a system way early on. About when the Sniper came out, Fast already had one. And then I think what's turned a lot of people off is the Sniper was so shitty that it literally had a Facebook page dedicated to it called Holly Sniper is shit, right? Yes. and there were so many people on there. And it was funny to see that this thing was it epically failed. And the sad part was the Holly multi-port fuel injection systems like Terminator X and all that, they were so good. And then when it came to these Snipers, it's like they missed the mark completely. Well, come to find out, the whole thing is manufactured in China. It's got Chinese cheapy injectors, and they're failing left and right. The computers are going bad because they have interference from the distributor, which is no matter which engine you put it on, it's literally going to have distributor interference if you have, a regular distributor. And which I was like, how did no one in engineering figure that out testing it? Yeah. Right? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a small block Chevrolet or a big block Buick with the distributor on the other end. It didn't matter. It was the interference from the distributor itself was just killing these things. So,
And on this thing here, what's really nice about this one too is that it does have self-learning mode. It's got a wizard like everyone else. You kind of have a wizard. You tell them your camshaft. You kind of go through a basic startup. But what we try to do differently is how well the self-learning works and how easy they are as far as on startup. And once again, like we did with the VRS, we tested this on a 625, 650 horse engine, the same engine that we put the VRS on. We took this exact system off, put it onto that Suburban. Then we put it onto what we call the Hoopty, which is a big block Chevrolet in our G body, and it was able to learn from one to the next and run just like we all do. Whenever we test these things, so it's got internal coil drivers. It basically can run with most HEIs, ready to run distributors, CDI boxes. And the system eliminates the need for separate ignition modules. So you don't have to run an ignition module. This will run this. You can also have data logging, fuel control, dual electric fan management, and all the necessary direct to a smartphone and or tablet. It's one of the easiest EFI systems to set up and operate. And I can tell you right now, it is. It literally, if I know a thing or two, and anyone knows a thing or two, but when you test this, and when we do it as an engineer install, we literally installed it, did the setup wizard like we would just regular person, hit started the car up, and it ran, and then it goes through its 5-minute learning cycle as far as when it's sitting there idling, and it brings it up and down and finds its deal, and then you're off driving, and the car runs beautiful, like literally like that. And we even tested it against the VRS, and it's right there as far as power goes with the VRS. So it's one of the few.
SSR Performance is saying what sizes will be offered in the E85 VRS ready to buy is 650.
Oh, well.
But remember that E85 is not allowed in Triple Crown, just as FYI. So don't buy that as your Triple Crown carburetor.
Yeah. I can tell you that we have 650, 750, 850, 950 VRS, right? This one right here happens to be the E85 950. I can't tell you what is coming, but I can tell you that if this is offered, eventually something else will be offered. I can't tell you when, but I can tell you that this one right now is the one that's offered. And this thing right here is amazing. As good as the VRS is, we took only by changing the carburetor and then putting E85 on it, we picked up almost 25 horsepower on the exact same engine. Just
so Clint Street Machine saying wasn't Fast an AEM company originally?
I don't know that. That was before my time there. I've only been there for 5 years at Edelbrock, and since I've been there, it's always been Fast has been part of the Edelbrock group. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you that one. And then now we actually are selling the calibration kits now for the VRS. So if you're looking for different jets, different squirters, whatever, so on and so forth.
Track kit, your VRS track kit.
Yeah. Because as good as the VRS is, every engine's a little different. We can't get every single combination in there perfect for every little engine. So sometimes you got to fine tune it, and there it is. I think SSR Performance. I think I gave them jets. I think that's all I did, and they went up there and they went faster. So
Well, Dust Up Garage saying big question for the EFI, can put it on a tunnel ram.
Yeah,
but man, the EFI is not going to be legal for Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Yes. Yeah, you can put it, but you're going to need 2 of them, obviously. But yeah, you can, and yeah, it worked just fine.
So Dakota's timeout saying VRS Dominator. Are you guys going to have an Edelnator anytime soon?
I don't. I don't know if that's ever gonna. I don't know. I can't say yes or no on that one, and I don't know. Because the Dominator is literally just a Holly thing, and the VRS is so good the way it is. We've tested it against Dominators pound for pound, and it kicks their ass, except for once you get it into the 1100 CFMs. But I don't know.
I'm assuming as big as the primaries are on that on the VRS.
Yeah,
right?
and it's
tall as the the Venturi is in that thing because it's
That's
a little
correct.
bit taller.
Yes.
I don't see why you guys could not make like a freaking 1100 or 1150, 4150 flange by taking out the individual round barrels and just make a 3-barrel, old Holly 3-barrel. Remember those?
one big open barrel.
You could do 2 big open barrels, and then, but the Venturi is so tall.
Yeah,
I think it would still work just fine with the one big open barrel.
Yeah. The biggest thing is that the VRS the barrels are so large on the 950 as it is. There's really no more room to go any larger. It is drilled for 41.
Well, I'm talking about just ovaling out one of
I
secondary.
I know exactly what you're saying about doing that. It's just I'm not really sure. I mean, that would be because just because of how tuned the Venturi is, you would lose some of that. You'd lose almost a third of your surface area for that tunability because it's going to be open like this. So you would have that's where the magic is happening is in that Venturi effect, the Bernoulli effect of that. And that's what makes that thing so awesome. Michael Schmidt's asking, so the E85 950 VRS would be good for a 468 big block boat engine until a VRS 200 comes out. In the boat, you'll be fine for 468 in the 950 because if you're running, say, an A or an AB impeller, you're going to be going down up the river probably 6,200 anyways, maybe 6,000, 6,200. So I'd say just go for it. The 950 be just fine. When I had my jet boat, I had I also had a 468 in it, and I had a tunnel ram on it, and I was not turning. I had an AB impeller cut on it. I was turning about 6,200 I had an Ultra, shallow V Ultra, open bow, and it was a 21 foot, I believe. It would do 70 miles an hour. And then when I went to a B impeller, then I had to change carburetors because that was the RPM went up to $7,000, and that's when things start breaking. So it should be just fine.
Oh, well, okay. WAF Racing says, still learning my VRS, but on my 408 CUDA, it picked up 1.5 mile an hour in the quarter mile in the same day, back-to-back runs versus my custom-built Holly style carb. Impressive piece.
Yes, it is. And he's right. I videotaped that. Actually, I've actually seen that thing firsthand, and he drove that thing 1,000 miles through 6 Smokies. So,
Dead Pedal Motor says that Sniper 2 is fine. Original Sniper is 50-50 on RFI issues. Yeah, they were a mess. And I kept telling everybody how we solved it in the Navy, because we were running big radars, right? And so you'd have RFI issues big time, is we would create a shielded wire was wound around the harness. And I'm like, just if you're getting RFI issues and it's RFI, just put a shielded wire around the harness. And dudes were putting aluminum foil around it. It's like, God, man, if you just want to hear what somebody has to say and then booger eat and redneck it, I'm not even going to bother with talking about this anymore because I have direct experience with this crap.
Yeah. I love that term, booger eating redneck. I like that one. Andy's saying, WAF, everything we've tested the VRS on has come out on top. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
It's because of that extra circuit in there, and that's what makes the Venturi taller, I think, is that whole extra circuit. That's why the metering blocks are taller. That's why the volt mold are taller. Is all of that.
Yeah, when I was in California, I had not only a jet boat, but I had a pontoon boat. I also had a 24-foot pontoon boat, and I sold them coming out here because I just looked at the Mississippi River, and it was literally mud, and I'm like, well, I'm definitely not going to take my boat into that, so I just sold it.
Yeah. Okay. Was it Tom Brown says, man, how much are exhaust shops charging in you guys' areas? Local shop won $450 to put a single 3-inch with a knockoff MagnaFlow after my current Y pipe on my 71 C20. I would have to say that's probably on par with everybody else. That might be actually a little bit cheaper. What I started doing, I guess probably 2015, was if you're wanting to run a single 3-inch pipe, the best thing to do is go get Diamond Eye or MBRP diesel truck exhaust, and they'll almost fit any truck. I will guarantee you buy one of those 3-inch diesel exhaust setups or even a 4-inch, and they're $260. And it was like the easiest thing because I put one on a 94 Ford that It was technically for a Power Stroke diesel in that same body style, but it literally went on, and I could see how it'd be so easy to just put on just about any truck. But single 3-inch and 4-inch pipe works so good on a tow rig.
Yes.
It does sound good. And it's not loud. It's not drony. I thought it was going to be very drony, and it's not.
No, because you're using some pulses to help the other, and it just basically, once it starts moving, it's just pulling all the way out, and it just works right where it needs to be. Now we're going to get to something for all the guys, because everything, like I said, we're going to make nitrous great again, and we have. Here we go. This is the biggest thing. If you can see this, this is a nitrous plate that I designed, and it looks different than everything because I was thinking, what's the one thing you always hate with a nitrous plate is that you're going to have a gasket, then you're going to have like a nitrous plate that's going to have like, your solenoids, and you have another gasket, then you're going to have the nitrous, actually the NOS plate with the fuel plate itself, then you're going to have another gasket, and all that stack and all that is just a pain in the butt. So what I did here is I turned them sideways, and this is a two-stage unit, and this two-stage unit is only 1 inch 200 thousandths tall. So these are your two fuel ones here and here. These are your two nitrous ones back here. And then these are made in, this is all made in America. Those are Russell, fittings, and they're Russell lines. These are American style. They are American solenoids, all of them. And the plate is made in Missouri. So everything is 100% American made, because I was not going to do anything overseas on this. Because if I don't put it on my car, I'm not going to run it. Another thing that we did is that the new solenoids, nitrous solenoids, normally you will have, if you're going to have a dual stage kit, you're going to have two purge valves, because it's going to come up, the nitrous is going to come up, and then you're going to hit a purge valve. The purge valve is connected to the solenoid. If you notice here, there's only one purge valve there. And so this way now we're running the nitrous through the solenoid and then purging after the solenoid. So you're going to have one. So if you have this on your car, and you can, because it's very small, it's only 1 inch 200, you can put this on there. And when you purge it, people are going to think you're going to have one system on there. And you'll actually have two. So it is, and it fits the footprint is very small, and it fits. And if you see how long those lines are, they're only 3 to 4 inches on each one of them. So it's really a compact unit. It's awesome, and it works amazing.
Yeah, the closer you can get the solenoids to the actual plate itself, the more reactive it is.
Yeah, and it's less of a phase change. Also, too, because your fuel system that's going to be the anomaly, because that's only going to be under, like, say, 6.5, 7, or 7.5 pounds of pressure, where the other one's under 950. So that's always going to hit harder. So the shorter you can make the fuel lines, the closer it's going to, hit at the same time. And that's what by making those things as short as we did, and putting 90 degree full flow 90 degrees on them instead of just making angled 90 degrees, that definitely helps out quite a bit too. And there's no hard transitions on anything there. We have in the 4150 and the 4500. Conservatively, they're saying 250 to 600 horse. I can tell you I did flow this 400 on each kit. So they'll be conservative with this, but I can tell you right now, you could run this 800. Obviously your engine would have to be 100% set up for this. This is not going to be for, hey, I'm going to go put this kit on an engine and just run it. I can tell you right now, this is serious. This is for like the serious person who's going to be running this. Yeah.
Nice car part.
Yeah. So I can tell you that I did test this on my car, and I did a 150 out of the hole, and then I brought on a 200 kit, about a second and a half to 2 out, and I was in the 550s in that car on a shitty track. The 200 kit had to roll on, but I was almost at 130 miles an hour because I had to pedal it twice. So if I could have actually hit it, I believe I would have been in the 540s in the Cookie Monster with that setup. So that's an amazing thing. I've been working on that one for a long time. And the only thing I hate about the No Name Nationals, but I love it, but the only thing I hate is that it's in September. So everything I've been working all year on, I can't put on my car. I have to wait until the following year, because I have to wait until the end of October.
Or you can squeeze your bosses into releasing it in September.
Yeah, but they like the thing is though is that whole like they like this. They like the it's like they like bringing these out, having the whole display out there at SEMA, and that's the thing. I don't know. So, but yeah, I'm really proud of that one, and I can tell you I have something else working right here that I can't show you. It's also nitrous, and we're going to have another part of this that I'm going to be bringing out. I'm not maybe first quarter, but it's going to be just as cool as that. I can tell you that.
Well, Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage says we can get Clark to go 5s with that plate.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, where's he at? Where was that one at?
739.
Yeah. In fact, let me get down here. 739. Where is he at? Oh, yes. Actually, Andy and what is his name? I think his name's Mitch. Is it Mitch? His friend's name?
Who? Andy's friend?
Yeah.
Um,
sorry, Andy. I forget your friend's name. I apologize, but they're actually getting one of these things. They've already signed the NDA. I kind of talked to them about it, but he's getting one, and he's going to be putting it on the car. They're going to be running it. So look for some of that coming to him, because he's going to go out and run some stuff with that, and I'm looking forward to that.
The guy's last name is like Montague or
yeah,
it begins with an MONT.
Micah. That's his name. Micah.
Yes.
Micah. Yeah. So, Michael saying, ask for forgiveness, not permission. Yeah, the thing is, though, is when you're talking about a multi-million-dollar company, they frown upon that kind of stuff, because the whole idea is, getting that stuff. Clint's asking, so it's Plan Z on jack stands, or is lighting it's floating? No, it's still on jack stands, and the reason being is because I'm still waiting on the DLC solid flat tappet lifters for the engine that's sitting right here, right next to it. And the whole reason why it's still on jack stands is because the leaf springs are the sliding leaf springs, and they're tacked in. So once I put all the weight on the car, then I can actually fully weld those in, and I put the fuel cell in. I can fully weld all that in, because I want to know how much weight's going to be on the car. Plus, you see the roll bar sitting right here. I still have to do that too. I kind of gave up on it when I knew I wasn't getting lifters. I was like, I'll just wait for winter time, because nothing's going to happen until pretty much after the next couple of weeks until
May. Yeah. April or May. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mama M3 says, speaking of shitty tracks, we can run the big boys first each day at No Name Nationals before the rest of us eat up the track with street tires. I don't. John's the one that's kind of in charge of the schedule and how things are going to go, but I don't think there's any real need for that. No. What you really need is you need all the real race cars to run all in one session, right? Like one run after the other, after the other, after the other.
Yeah.
And that's the ideal situation. And then the street cars can come back up, and then, that's the only problem is the tires for the street cars when they do the burnouts just really score the rubber up. Making it difficult. But if you bring the other cars back up in a group, everybody runs on the same track, and it actually just gets better and better as each car goes.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also too, I kind of like it the way it is, because it will keep the speeds down. And that's what I was telling John. I was like, this is actually kind of nice, because it's almost kind of like a no prep. And it took me 2 days to get my 570. Because I showed up with an A to B pass, and I was like, wow. It's not going to hold the A to B pass, so I have to keep backing it down. So, I worked for it. So did Dylan. He worked his ass off for what he got. So,
and then Hot Rod Garage says, I'm hoping to get at least 2 more track trips in before I tear mine back down to put the Turbo 300 back in. I want to see how that Turbo 300 goes in that Mustang. I really do.
Yeah, I want to see that. So moving on to the next thing here, we have for your Pontiac, for your poncho guys right here, we have the Pontiac Victor Jr. Carburetors for EFI and intake. So one's going to be pre-drilled and one is not. and this is a big thing because we've never really had one of these Victor Juniors for them. And this is a really big for like the 500 cube engines. So it flows amazing. And this was just finished. Like when I say just finished, we just finished testing with Butler on this.
That's what that VRS 950 VRS would be good for right there.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what it's. We actually the biggest thing is because Pontiac, and Buick are known for what? They're known for torque. Yes. Yeah. So we had to design this around their because different than Chevrolets, different than Fords, and different everything. We had to design this around that because we want to make sure that mid flow is there for them, not just so that we were just not RPMing them. That was the trick with those. And here's something that I thought was a no-brainer, but we didn't have. But if someone just thought outside the box to do it, installation kits. How awesome is that? So your manifold installation kits for all the nuts and bolts you're going to need and everything that you need. Which is
it's simple turnkey. It should actually just come with each individual intake.
Yeah,
it should. Yeah. I mean, you're going to put it on anyway. That's why you bought it.
Yeah. So this way, people are like, they're not hunting for the nuts and bolts. These are going to be, the good stuff. This is actually our stuff that we test it with. And run it so that way you have it. And I think it's a no-brainer.
Michael Schmidt wants to know if Edelbrock is going to make a slant 6 higher flow head.
Negative. No. In fact, I don't think anyone's ever going to do it because the problem with the slant 6 right off the bat is just going to be the water ports. Where the water's at. You're right at that area. That's all water right there just because of how long that exhaust port is. And if you don't have water in it, that head's going to overheat. It's literally encompassed in water on the way out. So, yeah, I don't know. There's one guy right now. I think he's in Australia. He's been making a billet head right now for a slant 6. It's not a crossflow. It's literally going to be one that you bolt on there. But he's been working on that thing for almost 5 years now. So, but that's why I love the slant 6 is because it's not like anybody with just a bunch of coin can go out and buy an awesome head for it and just blow away the competition. You're not going to do that. It's 6 Briggs and Stratton engines bolted together, and I think it's worse than that. So that's why I love them so much.
It's like my Buick is the same way. My beloved Buick 350. Yeah, small bore, big huge stroke, long rod. Everything is engineering wrong about it for performance. It's meant for like torque and driving around and reliability, and so. Tom Brown says, Shane, cam choice for my brother's 71 two-wheel drive GMC, 4-speed, 377 gear, 27-inch tall tire, building a 396 oval port iron head, 10.5 to 1 compression, Edelbrock air gap, dual plane, power steering, manual brakes, would like power in 1,800 to 5,500 RPM.
Well, I don't have my catalog here of the comp, but you're going to want something for that kind of RPM range and that size engine. You're going to be in the, like say 227, 228 duration at 50 on the intake. I'm not sure if you're looking for something that's going to sound good, but with the dual plane, you can get away with a 110 LSA. That would be kind of like a happy medium. If you want something that if you have power brakes, I'd probably put it on a 112, but a 110 is going to be most ideal. On the exhaust, I'd be in the, like, say, 235 area. As far as lift goes, I really don't care about lift. It's just really lifted to where the head stops flowing. That's really it. Usually 20,000 is past that.
I usually do, like, when you're talking a combination like this, you do wear right before coil bind. So, I mean, like if you're running, and your springs can handle it. So you don't have to buy a bunch of springs and retainers and all that crap. So, I mean, you stick with the stock stuff. I'd probably look at like 450 to 470 lift.
Yeah, we have a bunch of those things. If do you have his you obviously have his cell phone number, right?
I have his contact info.
Okay, perfect. After this, send me a text and I'll send him a part number. Tell me where you want to lift at, what your current springs are right now. But yeah, something in the 150 on the seat, 300 over the nose is going to be just fine. And right before coil bind, 50 thousandths before coil bind is going to be just perfect. and that it'll live forever there, and it'll be stable, and you'll be able to beat it up when you want to, and it'll run just fine. And if people think that's a problem, my green car, the Lizard King, is literally 50 thousandths before coil wind. It's 30 thousandths. It's 20 thousandths off the bottom hydraulic lifters, and I drive the piss out of that thing. It drives just fine.
Yeah, well, and that used to be the old stock eliminator trick was they used to be limited to lift as what the factory camshaft was, right? So like if they had, and you're talking at the cam, if they were like 230 thousandths lift, the camshaft that they made had to be the same exact amount of lift, but they would make it the duration go from like, it'd be like 195 or 200 duration to like 240, 250, maybe even like 270. They were actually really long duration camshafts, and the lobes themselves, where you measured peak lift, was like you're supposed to do it at the peak of the cam. It would literally be flat. So what was weird is it would have essentially almost two lobes on it that would open up past top max lift because it's at an angle, right? And that was how they did it. And they always sounded super choppy if you ever heard a stock eliminator camshaft.
So when I was at Crowder, I used to make a bunch of cams for those guys. And what we did is we started, we call those cams cut nose, right? But what a few guys would do, now you would have to be really good at this. Like the only people that I ever saw get away with, there's probably 3 people, but Sherman,
Steve, Joe?
No, Joe Sherman. So what he did is he built a lot of these roundy round engines, right? And some of these eliminator engines. He would actually set them up almost 150 thousandths or sometimes 200 thousandths before coil bind. So what he would do is he would use the spring and he would loft the spring up. He'd use the coil bind to catch the spring and to catch the valve at high RPM. So you're literally making a ski ramp for the lifter. So it would measure correctly, but then it would launch, it would come around, but you had to have it set up just right because once again, the exhaust is going to hit if the valve is not closing on time. He would tell me that the impression of the exhaust valve would be in the top of the piston, shoving it closed because it was lofted and coming back up. So
well, they used to say Rear Morrison used to say, if you don't have valve imprints on your piston, you're leaving horsepower on the table.
Yeah. So that was a real
and
thing.
I mean, like you're talking like thousandths, not like it's not smacking it and mushing the valve. It's just riding it as it's closing, right? The pistons come up and riding the valve like within 1,000th.
Here's the thing, though, is that if you put that on a 108, your RPM is going to go up as far as where it's going to start to make power. A 110 is going to be a much smoother. It's still going to be rumpety. And, instead of installing
torque.
Yeah. So if you install this on a 106 ICL, 106 ICL is going to be really, the intake center line on that, it's really going to make that thing thump. You're gonna hear it. You can even back it up a 108 if you want to have more, but all you're doing is just shifting the power higher up in the RPM range. But that's, a 110 is going to be more drivable. It's going to have just enough boogity on it. And if you want it to be even rumpetier, just put not an H pipe on it, but just put true duals on it. You put an X pipe, it usually mellows it out. An H pipe kind of drones it down. But if you just put strapes on it, it'll be really rumpety. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. It's just a little too tight. But all right, moving on to the next thing. So we came out with the Jeep head a little while back. This here now is our Victor CNC cylinder head. I'm telling you, this is a bad dog. This thing flows so much awesome air. And this is for the people, because we've been
it's for the 4 liter, the high output 4 liters.
Yeah, and a lot of people run that 4.7 stroker, 4 liter, and people have already started testing these things, and they were at the King of the Hammers with this thing, and it's a pretty decent, awesome. Now we couldn't do testing on our dyno with this, just because of the length of it, but as far as in the field testing, significant. It was amazing. I can't give you numbers because we can't really talk about that kind of stuff, but I can tell you that it was very significant because your factory head, you're limited to this. Then we have the aluminum head, which means you can run a whole new more point and then do some porting on it. But this one here, you can run a whole more point of compression on it. Plus now you have almost like 30 or 40 more CFM over the aluminum head, which is that's awesome.
Vintage Adventure Drive says the cam in my dad's pickup is the specs of the Comp 270H Magnum. And that thing has a great lope. I heard that truck, matter of fact, because I went and looked at the truck when he towed it in. He towed it all the way from Oklahoma with like this. I mean, what was that? A '66 Chevy truck?
Yeah,
something like that. I know it was the old body style. It was like '66, I think. And but it had like a 327, and it had the original like 4GC carburetor on the 327. I was surprised that it actually was still going, because you can't hardly find parts for them anymore. But with his 4-speed manual, and he was having a blast. Yeah, 66 C20.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Brown, no problem. We'll get that. I'll get the cam number for you, and we'll send it out to you. So, who was the person who was talking about the Oldsmobile Performer RPM head? Who was that on here last week? Do you remember?
I don't remember who it was.
Well, they were right. I couldn't speak on it. So here it is. This is the small block Oldsmobile Performer
RPM
head. So it is for the small block. This is an awesome head. It's going to come in the hydraulic roller and the hydraulic flat tap it. It's got a 68 cc combustion chamber. It's something that the Oldsmobile guys really need. They need this thing. That's a good engine. That 350 Olds is a decent engine. It just needed some sort of head flow. So,
well, you could use one block heads on the small block, but apparently it drops the compression down like horrendously because it's got some huge chambers, and I didn't know that. But the Oldsmobile small block has a humongous bore.
Yes,
right. Like the 330 is like a 4-inch bore, and then the 350 is like almost like a 60 over Chevrolet small block standard bore.
Yeah, and see the valve size on this one is 115. So I mean, sorry, 215, 2.15. Sorry, and the exhaust is 1.68. So they're big. That's large. That's large valves.
Yeah, those small blocks, they rev, dude. You know, like Oldsmobile won Pro Stock and AHRA in like 1975. Because it was you remember the 403s came in like the Trans Ams?
Yeah.
Or Firebird. So it was a Firebird, and it had a 403 Olds in it, supposedly with a 350 Oldsmobile diesel block bored out to the 403 bore, which is like 43250 or something, whatever that big humongous bore is on that thing.
Now here's something that I had a personal hand in working with, and this is something that I've always wanted to do. So the big block Chrysler, the Performer RPMs were dated. We all know that, right? So we didn't want to just revamp them. We wanted to come out with something that would be better than everything that's kind of out there right now. So this one is the 230 cc new head, big block Mopar head, and it's a 2.19 intake and an exhaust and a 1.8 exhaust. And you're going to ask, well, what's the difference here? The biggest thing is that it's the airflow. It has some of the best quality airflow. We checked. We went up against the trick flows. We did our own heads. It's very high efficient air, and how much power it was making was actually really bitching. We've only had a few cylinder heads to test, but I can say that it is. I can't really give out some of the numbers until they're printed, but they were.
Yeah, for big block Mopar, the thing I always thought was kind of interesting is like people make all these aftermarket heads. They make them the same ports as the regular run of the mill 440. Which is this one like similar to the Max Wedge head with the bigger ports? Because I was like, gaskets are already available. Why aren't guys making Max Wedge ports in these things?
Yeah, exactly. So, and why a lot of these things take so long for us is because we're ISO certified. And whenever you're ISO certified, it takes longer than if you're like, say, a person who's not ISO. So it just, we have to run through a lot more checks and balances. But these things passed the ISO certification in our facility, so they're awesome heads.
Well, Laugh Racing saying, I'm about to buy 270cc Trick Flow Max wedge heads for my 505 big block Dodge. What's this
negative.
new Edelbrock head?
Yeah, you shouldn't, because this right here, right there. Yes. We'll talk about this later, because I can't really say much on this right here, but we'll talk about this later.
Well, it would make sense that they would make one. Like if you were going to make them for the B or for the RB block, wouldn't it make sense if you were selling these heads that you made a B version of that intake manifold, which is just a smaller deck?
Yeah. And to go along with that, the Mopar is revamping the Performer RPM small block Ford, got its treatment, and same with Chevrolet. So these are the 205cc for the small block Ford, and then the 210 Performer RPM for small block Chevrolet. These are all the hydraulic roller cams. These are kind of filling that little section that just wasn't being filled. But
hey, so is that cylinder head for the Chevrolet small block, is it 23 degree?
Yes.
Okay, so it's legal for Triple Crown then.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. See, that's it.
And same with the small block Ford.
Small block Ford.
Yep.
Stock valve angle.
Stock valve angle. And these things flow, it's quality air. Yes, exactly. That's more coming on that soon. Because remember, I do design things for a company called Lunati, and I'm not going to tell you what they design, but you could probably figure it out by now. But yes, there's some really, really cool stuff coming. So,
oh, it's a whole package deal. Like, hey, buy these parts and you're guaranteed this kind of power.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we will definitely be in touch. We'll talk on that tomorrow at work. At 8 o'clock, I wanted to I was telling this to Dallas, and I'm just going to put this out there. It's something that I've been kind of kicking around, and I'm just going to say it. If anybody is interested in buying the Cookie Monster engine, I am going to put it up for sale. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to pull it out. Right now, I've done everything I've wanted to do with it. I've street raced with it. I've done everything. I've gone into the 550s with it. And it's an awesome package. And I haven't really thought about pricing just yet on it. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to take it apart, video it, take it apart. I'll make it on the video here. I'm going to measure everything so that way there's no question on anything. And if they want me to put it back together, I will. But I'm going to sell it with the plate, the engine plate, the headers, and I'll sell it with a 950 VRS on it, with the same one that I had at. I went 558 in, so it's a good setup. And it went a 620 with that carburetor, with the glide in it. So yeah, 627. So yeah.
So Tom Brown saying, Dallas, Shane, do you guys know who makes the fully counterbalanced big block Buick cranks for TA Performance? I would, okay, just knowing the historical part of this stuff from TA Performance,
China.
They buy from major manufacturers. I would say that's probably a Crowler crank.
Well, I don't think so, because they never. Well, they could have, because it's been 5 years. Is this something that's brand new? Because he would never really buy a crank from us.
Not to know of. I think they've had them for a while.
I don't know. It could be a Crowler crank. It could be, but I don't know.
There's very few people that make a big block Buick crank, an aftermarket stroker crank, or a crank in general.
It was Paul. Paul was the guy.
Oh, Paul P. Hoy?
Yeah,
okay.
Paul. Yeah. Paul, you are absolutely, yes. There it is.
I don't know how you've heard through the grapevine, because I didn't even know till after the live that, like.
There it is. Yes. Small block Oldsmobile heads coming out. Yeah, it's an awesome head. The port volume is 200 cc's. They kick ass, dude. They really do kick ass. And for 200 cc's on a small block, it's gonna be awesome, because it's got, like you said, it's got a big bore. Here's something too this is for the people running the Godzilla. We have now a gear drive
Huh?
for that. So to get rid of
They
that
have
chain.
timing.
Yes.
Or they have a single roller timing chain in them or something.
Yes, exactly. And how the timing chain works is that it's funky too, because it's got a chain that runs the oil pump, right? And the oil pump's got a shaft that goes all the way back, and the oil pump is like a variable pressure oil pump. Okay, so it's got a setting unit on it.
It's got
So
like a
that way
regulating spring in it to
yes,
dial in the oil pressure for whatever
yeah,
RPM it is.
exactly. And it's what's cool about that too is that way if you're just cruising down the road at low RPM, you can back down the oil pressure to makes it more efficient. So,
Well,
yeah.
Do you remember when I came out there to Edelbrock when you guys were doing all that testing with the Godzilla at in Democrat Road?
Yes.
And I came there in like the Suburban. It was like 5 years ago or 4 years ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you were showing me around, and you were like, "Hey, there's a Godzilla over there on the engine stand." And I go over there and look at it for like just a couple of seconds, and I walk away like, I'm not impressed. It's just like a big version of a LS. But I did take away. There was a lot of neat stuff that I took away. So that single roller timing chain, if you look at it, it has got to be inherently weak. But the whole idea of it is less rotating mass.
That's right.
And that was the whole point of the engine, was the most efficiency that they could get out of a essentially big block design, right? It had super thin rings, like real thin, like 43 thousandths rings from the factory, or 1 millimeter rings. But it had that real spindly timing chain. And then I saw the oil pump, and what it does is it essentially dumps all that pressure because it's focused on parasitic loss.
That's right.
So they're trying to eliminate parasitic loss on the engine completely at speed, so that it gets small block gas mileage, but big block torque and power. And I could see where that, if you ran any kind of spring pressure with that thing that was not like a beehive spring, you would be picking up your Godzilla and like sweeping it into a dustpan, because it would nail every one of the valves. It, I believe, was an interference engine.
It is an interference engine. And to go along with that, as far as how awesome our evolution lifters are, now we have evolution lifters for the Godzilla now. Drop-in evolution lifters. So
cool.
They're awesome. Yeah. So that's something that's new coming out too this year. So and we have Dallas, you're going to love this, and I couldn't really speak on this too. Ford small block hydraulic roller cam shafts. We finally took a new look at those and revamped some of the numbers. And if you look at some of those things, they'll be just like the old letter cams, but just with more aggressive lobes. So you can kind of get that old sound that you used to have. And with all the modern.
Dude, I had the magic combo with the E-cam.
Yes. So that would be your that's the 224, 230 on a 110.
And it's what, 490 to 490?
This one is 514, 509 with the 1.6 rocker.
Oh, it's got bigger lift.
Yeah, it's got a little bigger lift. Because
because the trick used to be to take that E-cam and throw 1.7 rockers on it.
Yes.
And so maybe the camshaft already has that ground
into
it.
That's exactly what we did. So we took that lift so that we don't have to change the rockers.
Well, you can't find them anymore. You can't find those 1.7 Cobra rockers. They used to be falling out of trees at BB&T, which is there in, like, just in South Haven, Mississippi, just south of Memphis. I used to stop there and buy parts, and they used to have a whole entire, like, a whole dedicated rocker arm, like, bench, right when you walked in the door to the left-hand side. And the Ford Cobra rockers, they were always gone off of that thing because I think they were made all by Crane Cams.
Yeah.
And they would sell them so fast that they couldn't even keep the display on table.
So we have 4 extreme energy cams. So the 224, 230 on a 110 is the biggest extreme energy. That's kind of like the big E-cam, right? So then we also have 2 versions of the thumper cam. We have one that's a 227, 241 on a 107. And then we have the mother thumper, which is a 235, 249 on a 107. Yeah, so that is one's gonna
be really choppy.
Yes, but some people want that stuff, man.
I know it's not me. That's not my style. I don't I don't care about the Cars and Coffee thump. because really what you're doing on that combo is blowing all your power right out the freaking exhaust pipe.
Yeah, in sound.
Yep.
But it does work, and this is for something that's like, say, 9-to-1 compression. Just have an RPM air gap and a TCI breakaway converter, because you're going to need at least a 2500 stall. But it still makes really, really decent power for what it is on a 9-to-1 engine. It was comparable to making, like, say, the 218, 224. It was literally making the same type of power as that one, but it just came on in a much narrower band because that 107 just kind of wham.
Well, you had me excited there when you were talking about. I didn't know you were going to say small block Ford. I thought you were going to throw some Buick stuff at me. I'm like, wow, somebody made something new for a Buick. No, that didn't happen.
Yeah. And then once again, LS LT 19 beehive springs. We got some new beehive springs with some different types of spring pressures. So this way the seat load on them is 140 pounds, and it's you can go with the different IDs, and it's for harmonics. You can put 650 thousandths of lift on these things, and they're designed for the high RPM, high torque, horsepower, durability, all that kind of stuff that you're running, like, say, spring technology, because cam technology is moving so much faster and nowadays that it's harder to keep the spring technology, because you constantly have to change that with how fast these ramps are getting.
Not to fall too far behind, but Fab Race Modern Piece says somebody should start making a 3.78 or 3.75, preferably steel cranks for FEs.
Yeah.
Which I thought FE's been around so long that there would be parts galore, but I guess not. Dizzy Izzy says this is kind of like reading the hot rod mags from the 70s. Shannon Dallas thinks you RPM maniacs. And you know what? It actually gives me an idea. The way Shane's going through the new catalog stuff from from Edelbrock. Is it called Edelbrock Corporation now?
It's Edelbrock Group.
Edelbrock Group. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it gives me an idea. I think next week I'll come on here for a few minutes and I'll bring a mag out of my own stuff. And I got some magazines from like the 60s and 70s and probably 50s if I dig back far enough, because I used to grab them like when I'd find them at secondhand stores, or it used to be where I would go before records got to be the new thing. I was buying records back in the 90s, right?
Yep.
And they were like nothing. You could go in for $1 and get a record, right? So I go into these secondhand stores, buy $1 records, and sometimes you would see old hot rod magazines, and I grab a bunch of them from like the era from 70. Well, no, it's actually from about 62 to 78, I guess, is where a lot of them were. And I got some super stock and drag illustrateds, but I think I'll grab one of those magazines and we'll read through like what's the prices,
Yes.
What's the events going on? How did it turn out? What's the new ticket that everybody's all over? And I think that'll be
8:00, and I'll bring one down too, because I have some up there too. So we'll do that.
Yeah. No, that sounds cool.
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, and we're not done, because I'm getting now to some of the stuff. This is another one that I designed from scratch, and these are going to be our new LS cast. Remember, these are cast now, LS valve covers, because we have a foundry, so why not?
Right.
So they have a brand new, awesome design. And what I did is that these are designed just to run if you're going to running a supercharger, because on the lower end now,
they need to be really short.
Well, not just that, but normally the coils mount up on the top right here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when you have a supercharger and you have all those fuel injectors and all that stuff right there, it gets really cluttered and the coils are in the way. So what I did is I brought them down here, and I flipped the fast coils that we have, so that way they stick straight up. So that way when you have a supercharger here, you have the injectors here, you have your valve cover, and then now you have your coils sticking up like this, and they're away from everything. It's all sectioned off. Dude, it works awesome. So all the factory brackets that you currently have, if you have, say, any fast coils or anything aftermarket, they're going to bolt on. They're going to bolt on right there.
So I hate to say this, there is a lot of LS guys in here, Levi and Russell from Hot Rod Guy Garage. He likes LSs. But man, I'll tell you what, an LS is like the ugliest looking engine on the planet. You
But
know,
this makes it look better.
yeah, it just has no visual appeal. So anything they can do to make them look better, golly, is that like a saving grace for that engine? Because it just has no. You look at it and it just literally has no personality.
Yeah, and that's what I did here is I changed it up. I gave it some personality. I gave the valve covers a little bit of character, and we're using our foundry, and it has 16 AN bungs on them. So, and then we have all these new little AN bungs coming out.
Oh yeah, the AN bung stuff is cool for if you have a turbo setup.
Yep.
You run an evac system on there, super easy.
Yeah, exactly. And then anything AM, as far as caps or whatever, or vent or whatever. So you don't have to have anything special. And because I'm a car guy, underneath there, they're going to come with baffle plates. So some people like baffle plates, some people hate them, but I always think that if you can't, it's line of sight. If you can't see it, oil's going to have a hard time getting there. So there's going to be baffle plates there. If you want to put them in, it's going to be threaded for it. You can install them. Some people just like, wow, baffle plates are old school. You know what? It works. Baffle plates are going in. I was ready to die on that hill.
Paul Pihoy is saying, Shane, is the Edelbrock catalog available to order now?
I think so.
They took it to SEMA this week, so it has to be able to order. They were handing those catalogs out this week, right?
Yeah. So here's the new. This is the new Edelbrock catalog right here too.
Yeah. Well, you should give Paul the part number for them Oldsmobile RPM heads.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So here. What's that part number here?
And Dizzy's saying my gearhead bro-in-law bought new magazines every week, read them multiple times. That was me, man. I was stationed on a ship overseas, and I had no interest in going out into Japan or wherever I was stationed at. I would literally wait by the Navy Exchange magazine rack, and when they were stacking the new mags, that was me. I was by every single one of them: street rodder, drag racing, hot rod, carcraft, and I would every month I'd have like probably 20 different new mags, and I would just read them.
So is this showing up backwards? Are you guys reading this? If it is, I can do this here.
No, it's showing up fine.
Oh, it is? Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you could read the numbers. So
yeah, Paul should be able. You got it good close enough, and you could read the numbers. So Paul should be able to grab those numbers. And so it's 61035 or 61039 for a flat tappet, and then the rollers for the 035s.
Yeah, right there. So there you go. Yeah, that's the number for those. So
I love baffle plates, and I also I made my own oil catch can one time.
Yeah, it worked great.
It's so simple.
Yeah, and it works. It's effective. Here's another one too. Awesome, fabricated modular type of valve covers. So exactly the same kind of small block. This is small block Chevrolet.
But since it's modular, you can literally put different pieces on it.
Exactly, and they're going to have the -16 ORB ports, just like those other ones. And it's a sleek, so you can put in AN fittings, PCV adapters, and they're really light. Yeah, they're fabricated, so they're really awesome. That was another thing, and here's another one too. You guys are really going to be stoked on this one. This one here, it's for these kind of engines. Valve covers for
Gen 3 Hemi valve covers. Those still have some kind of I don't know. They look good compared to the LS stuff.
Well, and here's the thing too: is if you notice where the port is, we put it down below on purpose because when they're up on the top edge, they're in the way of everything because you're on the Hemi. The port goes to the driver's side, right? So the port is going to come over and lay right over this part of the valve cover. You can never get it in there. So all the aftermarket valve covers, you can't even use this damn side of the port. So you either use this back one or on the other side. So we lowered them down to the bottom and put them down here. And there's no splash down there anyways because they're all
the oil mist is up top.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's all up top. So that way, all this is all in the drain back. And these are, once again, -16 ORB type of ports on them. They take all the factory gaskets, and they're really awesome, man. Really bitchy. And more LS stuff. This is a the billet, the valley cover. So it's a billet valley cover.
Huh?
Yeah. Just it's O-ringed gaskets, prevent pressure, and it's you can run it with or without the displacement on demand. It's just an awesome piece. It looks good. We're back. RHS is back in the block business.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the
what was the bottom one? LS. LS block.
Yeah, it's LS. So and here's the thing about it too. It's an LS tall deck block, 55 millimeter roller cam, and it's a 904 and it's a 904 lifter bore bushing in it. Then we also have the LS standard deck, 55 millimeter roller bearing bushing. It's bushinged and machined for 904. So this is all racing stuff. These are
that's a full race LS block.
Oh yeah,
and tall deck. What is the tall deck height on those blocks? Is it like 10 inch?
I don't remember off the top of my head. It doesn't say here. I apologize, but the tall deck, you can put a 4.6 inch stroke in it.
Golly, dude.
Yes.
Man, 4.6 inch stroke, and it's got it's probably got a 4 1/4 inch bore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We mapped it out like
500 cubic inch LS motor.
Yeah, I think it was 490 or something like that. I did the math. It was 4.25 is the standard bore comes with, times up by 2, times up by pi, times up by 8, and then times up by 4.6. That comes out to 522 cubic inch.
LS motor.
In an LS, right? So think about that. So if you have 522, that means that you don't even have to turn it. Let's just say you're going to turn this thing to $7,000, right? Which would be reasonable for a tall deck of that stroke.
And it's going to take the best LS head that there is on the planet and put it at max port velocity at 2,800 RPM.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And because of the big camshaft, you can run basically all the camshaft, and it would eat it right up. You could have something like
370 degrees of duration.
You literally could probably put in 285. Well, you could think of big block Chevrolet numbers or big block Mopar numbers. Let's just say 280, 300. That's duration at 50 on say a 114 LSA. You could run that on a turbo, 7,500 RPM. That thing's going to make just under 2,000 horsepower easily, like with no problem. Yeah, with no problem.
Yeah. See. Okay. Let's run back through here.
Sure.
Danny Boyd saying it's true. No crane rockers at Summit anymore. Crane's gone since 2008, so that supply dried up a long time ago.
Yeah, crane dried up when I came into the Edelbrock group. When I came over here to
well, your group bought the name, I do believe.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So because I believe, well, before they went under, I do think that Comp bought them. And a lot of it was just because the market was so crap in 2008. Man, all the manufacturers took a big, huge hit. And then Crane was one of the first ones to fold. And
but if you want crane stuff, we still have every single crane and every single Lunati master. So all the actual masters, because they were made on Burkos, they were not digitized at all. We still have every single one of those masters at the Memphis facility. So if you want a camshaft and you know the number or you know what it was, we can recreate it. Comp can, because Comp's been making Crane and Lunati, if you didn't know this, for the last 20, 30 years. They've been making the cams for them. So,
well, Crane, the killer thing about Crane, Crane had their fingers deep into the OEM stuff. That's where the 1.7 rockers for the Cobras came from. That's where the camshafts, the E cams, the B cams, all the letter cams from Ford were all made through Crane. Mm-hmm. Then they made the GM LT4 hot cam. They made the and that's where I ran into it when I was doing the EZ302 build. That stupid LT4 hot cam, if you go buy a production one, you know how much it is? That camshaft is $625.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this, a freaking billet solid roller for a top fuel car? I mean, $625 for a GM OEM cam. That's like the most absurd thing I ever heard. So I ended up buying one secondhand for $330.
Yeah.
But Tall Garage, Ken at Tall Garage is saying the Tall Deck LS blocks are neat. I think that's pretty interesting, and it was only a matter of time when they ran out of cubes that you knew that was going to happen. It's literally only making an intake manifold is all they're doing, and a block. So now I can handle mega stroke. So other than that, I think I'm catching up here. Dr. Go says, hi, all been lurking, listening, and learning. Always good info and great community. So that's why we come back every Wednesday night, is because our community is we're so tight.
And we do this just for you guys. That's why I turn off all the monetization. We're doing this just for you guys. That's why there's no commercials, none of that crap. Last but certainly not least, actually, as far as the parts go, and I got one more page to go to, we're getting into the 6L80 game here. So we're doing 6L80s now. We're actually going to be selling these things as a transmission package, and it can handle up to 750 horsepower. And how I know that is, remember, you guys have seen the dyno. Now, I can tell you about this. My very first job that I had, my very first project when I came from, moved out here, was that dyno. I programmed and hand programmed the dyno. I programmed the information to run the dyno for Mustang, so that way they could put that information in our dyno to run these transmissions, because these transmissions, they run on torque tables. So you're basically input shaft RPM, output shaft RPM, and it's literally clutch to clutch. And since the clutches are, they're timed, essentially, one's applying, one's releasing. There's really no bands in these things.
No band. Yeah,
it's no band. They're just clutch to clutch, so they have to know how much torque, so they know how fast to change things. So, and then there's manifold, there's a TPS sensor. So I had to write all that program for that. It took me about a month to get all that programming just right. And so we're able to test these things now up to 750, 800 foot-pounds of torque. We tested it at 800. We're going to call it 750. But we've tested that thing. And if you've had one of these things, not the 6R80, but the 6L80, they have a tendency to burn up. I can tell you right now, this thing, I wrote the programming for it. We have a way to test them. And if you've seen some of my videos, I literally took that thing and turned it to 11, and then I put all the load on it. It's literally a train brake. It's for a big diesel train brake, and it's electromagnetic, piston stop on it. And that thing was glowing red going through this converter and transmission. And I didn't do it in lockup. I did it with the converter slipping, and then I went full throttle and then locked it up in 6th gear and lockup. So I can tell you right now.
Garage is asking. I got a 6L80E for $50, missing 2nd gear. What's the weak point of them, I wonder? And it sounds like the clutch apply, right?
Clutch apply, yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of problems with that transmission, just in all of it.
All of the transmissions are going that way, where it's all clutch apply. There's no bands. There's no sun shell, right? When you take the band out, you remove the sun shell.
Well, it's a type of sun shell.
Well, it has to have the planetary system in it.
Yeah,
but it won't have the drum that you have to stop spinning with the clutch.
Yeah,
so that whole drum is gone.
Yeah, so they have they have essentially shells that stack inside of each other. So you have some of the clutches are this big in diameter. They use the case, and then they use the sun shell. And then they use a clutch on the inside to go into the out. So you literally have clutches on the inside and outside. Yeah, and that's how you're getting the gears.
The early overdrives used to use the case too.
Yeah, 350s like the Chevrolets like that. So, and I got to say this. Normally I don't ever talk about apparel, but I got to talk about this because these are awesome. I like some of this stuff. So here is some of our new, flannel style
merch. Edelbrock merch, or is it like Comp Cams merch? Oh, it's probably a mix of all of them.
Yeah, so this one right here, this is a Comp Cams right here, and that's the Edelbrock version. And I've got these things, and they're badass, dude. They're really badass.
Well, Michael Schmidt's saying Crane gold aluminum rockers for my Mark IV big block Chevy. I think that's what's in my boat. If not Crane, who made the gold roll rockers in the mid-'90s?
Crane.
I think everybody made them, Comp
Yeah.
and Crane.
Yeah, Comp and Crane, and I think Comp bought them from Crane, but it was a Crane gold rocker. And then we have they have this Edelbrock, like it's kind of like a welded soft shell jacket, but that thing is sweet, and a hoodie. I dig hoodies. I'm SoCal. I like the hoodies. And then if you're into hats, we got a whole thing of hats, but I only like the big Baja hats. I like those, the big sombrero ones. So,
oh, dude, those are the best track hats ever.
Yeah,
exactly. Keep from getting burned at the track. Yeah.
So now I can tell you, there are some stuff that is at PRI that didn't make it into this catalog because they were finished after the catalog. So here's something that is at PRI right now that I've been trying to get to market for 4 years, and I'm actually are the Nelsons still in here? Have you seen the Nelsons?
I saw Andrew Nelson was in here at the beginning. I don't know if he's still here.
Okay,
he hasn't said much, but
if he hasn't said no, if the Nelsons are still here, this is something that I'm going to give them, and it's something that if you run a ZF8 HP transmission, it's something you have to have. So when we were doing the testing, we were burning up transmissions, and we were putting in transmissions all the time. So that's how I came up with that cooler block, because we stopped burning them up. But then we were having to fill them up all the time, and it is such a pain in the ass. So I was like, well, why don't I just make a pan that you can fill up with a dipstick? Guess what? I made it 3 years ago, and they finally decided to put it out, and here's what it is. So it's a pan. It's a cast pan. It holds 4 extra quarts, and it uses the factory style gasket and a removable type of filter in it. It's got a metal plate in the top of it for like a baffle, because the biggest thing about the ZF8 HPs is under hard acceleration, they suck dry, right?
Well, they also they're not serviceable, right? So this makes the tranny serviceable.
Exactly. And it's got a drain plug on it. Plus I put an MPT 1/4 inch in there so that for a temperature probe. Second thing is that it has a dipstick on it that goes all the way up, and it's going to go to a Gen 3 Hemi style head. Now it's going to be a flexible hose, so that way it can kind of go to anything. But this way you can fill it up through the dipstick, and you don't have to get underneath the car and pump it up with fluid and fill it up from the bottom, and it fills it from there. And on the there's a baffle inside there. The baffle is going to have trays, so when you take your factory magnets, you clean them off. In the tray, you're going to put the factory magnets, so that way it'll not only have baffles for acceleration, so that way it doesn't the oil doesn't come out, but as far as side to side, the magnets are going to act as side to side baffles. So when you go under hard acceleration, it's going to keep the fluid from moving. And also, because since that's where the oil is going to be coming through at, it's going to work as natural filtration. So when you surface the pan again, you take it off, you clean the magnets off, you put it right back in there, and you're good to go. So that's now at SEMA, and it looks amazing. It's an awesome thing. So as soon as I get some pictures of it, and I'll actually bring one here and show it to you guys, but they look bitchin'.
Well, Clint's saying the comp flannels look cool. Michael Schmidt's in Dallas. What's the Buick engine you're going to be with? What vintage goodies are you planning? Any wild Buick Go Fast goodies, or just cubic inches, compression, and nitrous? All right. So for my super stock car, I think is what you're talking about. I already built the motor like probably 4 or 5 years ago. It is 364 cubic inch small block Buick. It has 12.76 to 1 compression. It has ported factory heads. The valve train on it is stainless steel. What is that? Who makes the valves? SSI? Stainless Steel Incorporated. Isn't that who used to make those stainless steel valves? I don't think they're still around. And then Shane and I worked together, and we came up with a combo to put some Beehive valve springs with some really dinky retainers on the thing, and lost a whole bunch of weight in the valve train. And then I made the intake manifold. If you look back through my old videos of Mr. Rodder's Neighborhood, you'll see the engine on there. But so I am going to try some new things on there. I found a guy on eBay that was CNC making valve cover adapters. So I'm going to adapt my 300 Offenhauser valve covers to the 350 Buick, so that should look pretty freaking tits because they never had any cool valve covers available for the 350 Buick. It has a fully ported TA Stage 1 dual plane because that's what was required on it. And then it has a new old stock Buick 455 Mallory dual point distributor that I knocked the gear off the end and put a 350 Buick gear on it. And now it has a new old stock, never ran Buick dual point distributor in it and the Morosa water pump kit. So it is legit nostalgic. I do have a couple other combinations that I'm going to do over the years. When I finally get the damn car done is the big one. I have a 300 cubic inch combo that I want to do that I actually have a 215 Hillborn fuel injection system for. And so I'm going to stick that on a 300 Buick, but it's going to be a full boat 300 Buick. Max bore, the best rods I can get, offset ground crank, which I'm going to de-stroke it, and we're going to wind her up to about 10 grand. See what happens. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So
Levi says, dude, I need that block for my Laguna. Now I can make some serious dough so I can buy it. You know, I all I can say is we might have one. I don't know. There might be one for you, man. Paul's saying, wow, we've come a long way from the switch pitch to these modern trannies. I said it this time, and that is 1 hour and 34 minutes in.
Yeah, well, somebody said it earlier.
Oh, they did? I didn't know.
Yeah. Didn't you say it earlier?
I didn't say it.
Oh, I thought somebody did.
Oh.
Bear Rose Garage says, for Dallas, can I run wheel adapters? Ford to Chevy. I drug my old slot mags, but they are Chevy pattern, and I was already set up for Ford Mopar. I don't know for what. And you're talking about at the drag strip? Generally, they don't allow any wheel adapters.
No. Somebody asked for a better picture of the nitrous plate. So here, this is when I finished it. This is when it hasn't been powder coated or anything, but that's literally what it is. They sit sideways and clamp on there, and you can see how small they are. But it's so you're going to have, they're 90 degrees from each other. So it's like an old perimeter plate that's been modernized and flow tested. So works awesome.
So Blue Creek Garage is saying, has anyone had problems with aftermarket aluminum heads? My neighbor bought a set for his small block Ford. The valves were not sealing due to faulty machining, according to his machine shop, who saw a few lately. That has been a running gag for aluminum small block head or aluminum heads, period, especially if the brand called ProComp. If they are from overseas Chinesium, you generally have to spend almost as much as you saved to make the heads right so that you can run them.
That's correct.
And so it's really a wash because you're literally getting Chinese junk, and then you got to spend a bunch of money at the machine shop to make them work. And then it's the same price as if you would have bought a Edelbrock made in America head or an AFR head or whatever.
And our stuff comes out really good. Just Mopar Joe did a video, and you know, it's not like we wouldn't hand pick these things. We sent him some heads that just came off the shelf, and he took them over. And I said, man, just be honest. You know, if they are what they are, you know. And they went through, and he took them to his machine shop there, and they went through them and they checked them all, and you know, they were awesome. So yeah, go check out one of his videos. They actually did a pull out and check, are they really out of the box ready to go? And they are.
Michael Schmidt says, Cool Beans Buick motor, do you have a vintage coil from Mallory? I actually do. I bought but mine is black, and I took the decal off and then mounted it to the engine, so it doesn't look like anything. I mean, the whole engine looks like it's almost factory stuff. That was kind of what the intent was. The whole reason I did that, I mean, the only thing that sticks out on it is that it's got a quick fuel 950 on it because that was my dad's carburetor for his Stage 2 Buick 455, and that was the only carburetor I had. I'd never owned a Holly before that. And I'm probably just going to put a Q-Jet on the thing to run it at Northern Nationals.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Because I get a 100-pound weight brake for a Q-Jet, and I know how to use them.
Is it 100 or 200? Is it 100-pound weight brake
It's
for
a
the
100-pound weight brake for a quadra jet and a 100-pound weight brake for a 4-speed.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. Okay, so Levi's asking, do I have a price on this block? I do not yet. I don't know. I don't look at a lot of the pricing on it because I'm so busy designing things. I mean, literally, you saw how many things I designed in this, and how much stuff is actually at SEMA that's not even in this catalog. There's more stuff I designed that I can't even remember right now. So I'm sorry.
Well, don't you have that adapter plate where it was like small block Ford to 4L60E?
Yes, that's
Or
finally
Bell
out. Yes, that's finally out. That is out in the wild. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, we have it. The first one was designed for a 4L60E, and it was designed for a 4L60 converter. The one thing that we didn't know, I didn't know at the time. Didn't even know that this could happen. The 4L60, the 4L65, and the 4L70 all have a 300 millimeter input shaft. And you can use the converter for all of them, but they're different sizes. So I redesigned it so that way you could put all 3 converters on this thing, and it's actually bitching. We actually gave one of them went to Six Smokies in Dallas Moss's Rancheros, the blue one that was running with us. And if you watch Riley's rebuilds, I gave one to Dane, and Dane came by our shop, and he actually has one of our transmissions, the bell housing, and one of our Bluetooth TCI controllers in it right now. It's one of our fast controllers. It's really awesome. And he's running that right now. They're not going to be at PRI this year, but they're at SEMA this year. And they're running it in some race that's coming up. Yeah, so it's going to be really cool. And he's got twin AVSs on this tunnel ram small block Ford. So it's really bitching. And it fits in there well. So.
Well, Michael Smith asked me, Dallas cool can. Yes, I have a cool can. I haven't mounted it yet. I actually haven't been making any videos of my 63 Superstock Buick because it's all body work what I've been doing, and I don't want to alienate my audience. And I mean, I probably should make something just so people watch. I haven't made a video in like 9 months, probably. I don't know how long it's been. March or April. So I do probably need to do something, but right now I'm just doing body work, and it's tedious, and I don't know, it's not what people want to watch. I tried with a trunk lid 2 years ago, and it'd be better off if I just never made the video. So, but I will get to the point where I am installing all that stuff, and you guys can see it going together. And I'm actually to a point now where I need to finish the rear firewall. I need to put a roll cage in it. I need to put the mid plate in there, and I need to install either elephant ears on the front of the engine, or I do a whole entire front motor plate, which I don't want to do because it means I got to disassemble the engine and machine the timing cover to work with the mid plate. How do people normally do that, like in the Mopar world, Shane?
What's that?
I guess your distributor's in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter. But on mine, the distributor's up front, like small block Ford. What do you do for a small block Ford? Do you just mill a 1/4 inch off the timing cover?
Yeah, well, you just if you're going to put it, like say on a big block Mopar, you just the elephant ears come right off of the 2 bolts, up at the front. They kind of come down like this.
Buick doesn't have those bolts. It's only the heads, and it's got spindly little 7/16 head studs. And then so I could bolt it to the heads, but when the motor torques, it's going to lift on one of the heads.
What about your water pump? How does your water pump attach?
It's just like small block Ford where it's bolted to the timing cover.
Perfect. On the Cookie Monster, that's where my motor plate goes to, is where the water pump bolts onto. It literally bolts right to that on the block, and then that becomes, and then you put an electric pump on the other end of it, or your water pump on the other side of it. So you just basically bolts right up and use a water pump gasket on the one side of it.
I think you have not seen the Buick small block.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So the water pump is held on by 1/4 bolts.
Oh,
and the biggest bolts that go through it there's 4 5/16 bolts on the edge of the water pump where it holds it in the water jacket for the block, and then 6 1/4 bolts on an aluminum timing cover with an aluminum water pump.
Mine's an aluminum timing cover. It's got six. No, is it six? Yeah, I think it's six 5/16 bolts, and that's literally what holds on my engine plate.
I'm wondering if that would work.
It would.
Well, somebody makes one that actually you remove the timing cover off the Buick, and the timing cover sits on the outside. But see, the distributor's in the timing cover, so I'd need to mill a 1/4 inch off my timing cover, so that one, the bolts in the pan would line up, but two, the distributor will fit down and mesh in the cam correctly.
Well, you do that. I can mill it for you.
You know what? Well, that might be an option then, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to have to disassemble the engine to do that, but I guess that's what needs to be done.
Yeah. Well, we got to get going through some of this because we got some questions up here. And
yeah, no problem.
Lot Browns is saying that he just installed Edelbrock heads on his 440. Awesome. Levi's asking, will RHS be at PRI? Yes. Now, technically, this is the Edelbrock group right here. This is the Edelbrock group. It's Edelbrock, Comp, TCI, Fast, Russell, and Lunati. But RHS is coming out with blocks. So I'm assuming that you're going to see RHS here. So I know I'm going to be working for the RHS engine blocks. So I'm going to be the one designing that stuff. So, yeah, they're definitely going to be there because I'll be there. So, yeah, we can help you out with that. So next one, any Triple Crown news updates, new builds? I think did we get the rules updated? Put up?
I haven't typed it up.
Okay.
You know, I was actually kind of considering, I was kicking around the idea, you know how like what we did was remove the weight brake for the 4150 because it's pretty much the standard combo everybody's going to run.
Yeah.
But I think what we should do is add weight to the tunnel ram setup. I really think that's the only way to make it fair.
I like the idea, but I want to see more multiple carburetors. Until it's a problem, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't think it's going to be an issue personally right now. I want to see more people run the tunnel rams, more people run the 3 carburetors. I want to see more people do the multiple carbs. So that's the only reason why I didn't vote to put more weight onto those. That's the only reason why I didn't want to have that. I want to see more of that tunnel ram stuff because we only had one tunnel ram there.
But he wasn't even planning on running Triple Crown. He just showed up and we bombarded him with Triple Crown.
Right. Yeah. It fit perfectly. It was exactly what we designed the class for. A car just like that, you know?
Yeah, something with a little bit more cubes, but I mean, it still fit. Yeah, that's exactly what the whole thing was about.
Well, Dust Devil Garage says that he said he wanted the Cookie Monster headers. How about this? You buy the engine and the headers come with it. Yeah. You get the whole thing. And I'm telling you, if you guys want a killer monster Triple Crown engine, you could literally buy this and it's a 40 over 360 block. You put a stock stroke, stock style length rods, and then some nice pistons on it. Those heads are factory valve angle. There's nothing crazy about those.
So you could have a 550 to 620 horsepower small block Dodge
that goes to 8,500 RPM and has the 380 CFM of airflow on the intake to take care of that. So literally you would have a monster engine for that. And if you did that, if you bought my engine and decided that you wanted to build that, you buy the parts, I'll assemble it for you. How about that? Because I would love to see that at the Triple Crown because that thing would just be an animal.
So Blue Grid Garage saying my neighbor's aluminum heads were from a name brand company I do not want to mention. I bought a set of AFR heads in when did I buy them once for that 393 stroker I did 2015 maybe.
Yeah, and
I ended up having to lap them in because and I wasn't going to spend any money, you know, like I already bought a freaking $2,000 set of heads. I didn't see myself spending money at a machine shop to get the valves done, so I lapped them in, and it took me a while to lap them, but I got them all 16 to seal. So
I'm with him. You know, let's get off the back of the water pump.
I can't do that. I have to mill the timing cover. They make a front plate, but it goes behind the timing cover.
I would have to look at more of a Buick block, a small block, because I'm so unfamiliar with the architecture of that. There's got to be somewhere.
Well, I'm telling you, they make one, but I have to remove the timing cover. And then I'd have to get the timing cover milled so that the distributor is still in line with the cam.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that I could see to do it. Then I would have like 8 5/16 bolts holding the whole motor, and that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not a problem. But if I try to attach it to the water pump, I'm just going to lose the timing cover because there's literally nothing up there to hold it. There's like 6 quarter 20 bolts and then 2 5/16 bolts. And that would be it. But I guess, doesn't the mid plate stabilize the whole engine? So I guess maybe there's probably not as much torque on it as I think there is.
Yeah, exactly. In the front, it's really, if you're running a mid plate, right? You're going to run a mid plate.
Run a mid plate. Yep.
Yeah. So the front plate then is just basically stabilizing. That's all it's for. Then at that point, because the mid plate's going to take all the torque.
So I'm wondering if I could just do that. But
Vintage
tries. He's saying, are you saying the distributor goes into the timing cover? Yes, it's like a big block Dodge. It's just on the opposite side.
Yeah, I'll get to that one in just a second. This Clayton, we're going to have this question. It's too big of a question for the last 10 minutes that we have. Rewind us, and we'll talk about this next week because I do have a whole list of things that I do. Too big of a question. Yes. We'll get into that next week.
It's actually probably a pretty good question for right now.
Well, it's too long because we're so far behind. I want to get through some of all these. So yeah, you just went through this distributor. Shane, do those water pump bolts go through the timing cover into the block? Yes, 4 of them do. So the top 2 ones do, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, those 4 do, and then 1, 2, 3 do not. So that's what holds it on. So yes, they do. So that's why I bolt them up and get them all tight, and I put them on there. And that's why I have all the water pump and everything, the electric water pump bolted on before I put it into the car.
So back to that question, the car thing is super expensive. We all do it our own way. How do you budget for your car builds? Well, before divorce, we're going to call that BD, right? I used to have essentially 3 pools of money. Okay. It was the money nice to have stuff for my kids, like college fund and extra clothes. And if they needed to buy a car because they're getting to be the age of driving, I had that pool of money. Then I had house expenditure money, like family, we got to put a roof on, all that stuff. And then I had car money. Well, over the course of me screwing with cars for the past probably 40 years, that money always stayed in that pot. So whenever I bought something and sold something, that money went back into that pot, and it was its own bank account. And so whenever I took something out of anything car related, it was out of that account. When divorce happened, all that became essentially one account and then just cut in half. And now I'm like, I'm like the nubbed lady in the Man from Reno, Alfred Hitchcock show that has no fingers. It's like trying to light the lighter and lose my last finger. But I don't have that anymore. I used to have that. And so now that's what's wrong with my 63 Buick. Why nothing moves, because you got to have money for the project. So what I'm trying to do right now is I squirrel away money that is parts, okay? And then sell those parts. And then that money goes back into the car fund. I have to reestablish all that stuff again, unfortunately. And so, because I had it set up pretty nice, but when divorce happens, they take all of your net worth and combine it all together and then cut it in half. And then everybody gets half the bills, half the debt, half the money. Well, guess who had all the money? Guess who had all the debt? Right? So I just got butt fuckeried into having only one account now. So that's where I'm at.
I'll talk about that next week on my end, because I have a big list of things that I go through.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Only thing better than a carburetor is multiple carbs. No Atkins diet allowed. I agree. and we're going to definitely do that. That's why I want to have that. So another one is question. Always wanted to know, how do you extend the pilot bearing for a mid plate on a 4-speed setup, and how is this mod done? Okay, so sometimes they sell input shafts that are actually longer just for this. Two, they some of them have pilot extensions, so it's a piece that you hammer in there, and it's whatever the thickness is, it will bring back the pilot bearing that thickness. Or some of them actually have a pilot bushing that is just flat out longer because it hammers in and it's just that much longer, so that way you can fit it in there.
So I'm doing this like at the beginning of the show, the booger eating redneck way. I looked at it and like, oh, I could push everything back 1/4 of an inch, or I could buy the mid plate, open it up, and put it on the outside of my bell housing, and then use studs. And then it's like, I can't get the bell housing off easy without removing the mid plate.
That's right.
But I don't have to extend jack crap.
Yeah.
So that's what I started looking at doing.
Or make it modular, so that way you can, the mid plate here.
Take it off in 2 pieces?
Yeah, so that you make it 2 pieces and they bolt together as a sandwich. So that way it's on the inside, on this side, and on the other one's on that side. So when you unbolt it, transmission still comes out, engine still comes out, but then it's modular.
How am I going to be able to do that? I mean, I haven't even bought the dang mid plate yet because so my biggest problem with the 63 Buick, one, nobody makes anything for it. So I have to make all of it. I've made the oil pan. I've made like the mounts. I've made rear ends. I've lower control arms, upper control arms, all of it. I'm making every single piece of it. Headers I will eventually do. That same spot where the clutch linkage is normally at is the same spot that everything's fighting for the same space. So I got the clutch linkage. I got the emergency brake cables. I got, which we're probably just going to get cut off and tossed because they're pissing me off. They're in the way, and there's no way to really work around them. Mid plate goes in the same place. The headers were going to go in the same place, so I decided to do fender well headers, which I had to make a set of headers anyway. So I will eventually get to all this crap, and it will eventually go down the track, and it'll be one off of anything, all of it. That's where I'm at with that. But everything's fighting for that one little same spot. Thank God the starter's not over there. It's not a Pontiac or something. But yeah, I'm. It's all fighting for that one spot right underneath the driver.
Yeah. Loudburn saying, when manual shifting is 727, I'm getting a hang shift between 1 and 2. What's the cure? Okay. You're coming off the clutch and or the sprag, and then you're going straight to a band. Band is on the second on 2 shift. So first thing I would do is make sure that your band is adjusted correctly. Also, too, these things on 727, unless it's a manual, like actual manual style of valve body, it's still going to rely on the detent cable. So I've actually had some of these things where you adjust them so that way when it's full throttle, it's pulled all the way back. Sometimes I've actually had to release that just a tiny bit. So instead of it going all the way up against that, like on the wife's, the Beaver, because I've been driving that, I've actually had to adjust that. So when I floor it, it actually will shift before the engine's sitting there, dun, 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 and then go, because it's up against that pressure. I would do those 2 things. One, I would definitely check your band adjustment first. Second, I would look at your adjustment, take it just off of full throttle for when it's, as far as max adjustment, as far as on the detent. That's what I would do. And Clayton is saying here, if you use 2 quadrojets on a tunnel ram, do you get twice the weight reduction? No, you don't. You just get the 1. Not stacking them. 38 Racing is saying that he's hoping to have a triple carb for next year too. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Mean Street saying, I wish I had the money for that engine. You know what? I was actually talking to Dallas about this earlier, and I'll just say it. I was looking at $8,500 for the engine. Obviously, that's going to be a part, and I could get more for it if I was it together. But just the cylinder heads and the intake alone, minus rocker arms, is $5,000. If you were to buy them right now, it's got T&D rockers on it, so there's another $1,200 right there. And then the rods alone are $2,000 rods, and the rod bolts are $80 each. So right there, those 3 parts would be worth the price of the whole engine. And then basically, like Dallas was saying earlier, you get all the machine work for free. It's got a Milodon fixed idler gear in it. If you don't know what's in it, In 23, I made a whole video of me putting together the engine. Everything's in there. So it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. And I'll even assemble it back for you if you want to do that.
Fab Race Mod Repeats telling me to put a pull handle e-brake setup on it. I've actually considered doing that, like from a Fox body, like the handle like that, and then that's it. The only reason I'm not wanting to get rid of the emergency brake stuff is because it is a stick car. It's a stick car. It like you use the emergency brake in this case.
Yeah. On the vagrant throttle system, that is all gone. This was the third time I've redone it. And first with No Name Nationals, I was only getting 3/4 throttle. That sucks, man. That just means that you just need to raise take the pin, move it a little closer to the shaft on the carburetor, so that way it gets full movement. The closer it is, the less movement it takes. It's gonna be a little harder to push, but it just takes less. Drop it down by say half an inch, and that should take care of that.
Well, okay. So Michael Schmidt is very interested in my Buick. He wants to know the scoop and all that stuff. So I'll break out some pictures of it here so you guys can actually see, and I'll do the full Shane Polito, John Wilburn thing. Okay.
Right. We don't have much time. We got about
okay. That's fine. This is, oh my God. I guess that's not going to work. Let me turn that weird thing off. Visual effects. Done. Okay. Here we go. This is what it looks like right now. I don't know if you can see it. It is in like 1 bazillion parts, right? I took all the body work off of it because I'm trying to actually get. I needed room, and all this stuff was taking up room in my garage, so I moved everything outside. All right, now we'll go this way. I have 3 videos here of me. I couldn't get a good hood, so I decided to take my hood, straighten it, and then make a plug so I can have a fiberglass hood. So that's
did you videotape that? Did you make?
I did. I have 3 or 4 recordings of me doing it.
Then good. Put that up on YouTube because people want to see that stuff.
Dude, it's like freaking 5 hours long because I never got it done. So the scoop I'm running is the only scoop you could run in Southeast Gassers, which is you had to run a factory scoop that matched your make, right? So like Buick made 1 scoop, which was a stage 2 scoop in Pro Stock in 1970. So I used the 1970 stage 2 scoop on the hood of the car, and it actually looks really good. And that's not a very good picture, or it's not, I don't know. It's not looking that good, but it does look really neat on the car. This is what the car looks like. If you haven't seen it, it took me 2 years just to get the correct wheels because they're direct drill Kragers. They're non-unilugs. I wanted it to look like you literally found this car in your garage in 1965, and it's been there since 1963. Mm-hmm. That Buick looks like it needs a video made of it. Yeah, there's a few out there.
I've been telling him that for the past month, 2 months.
Yeah, that's the same as Chris Cox from Fab Race Mod Repeat's been saying that too. Like, dude, make a video of it. People are just going to watch it.
Yeah, they are.
But it is legit. I mean, it will look like a 1960s race car that your grandpa put together and parked it in the garage when I'm done. But it's just slow going because I have to make everything, right? Like literally everything I've had to make on the car. They made there was less than 300 manual transmissions in these damn things. It took me like 2 or 3 years just to find the linkage that I have, which is not all of it. The rear bumper took me 5 years to find a rear bumper.
Dr. Go saying something that everybody should take a heed of this because I actually just did this. After the No Name Nationals, take the water out, put the antifreeze back in. It's getting cold. We're going to freeze here next week. So, put it back in. So, with that, man, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. And I did see, as we're rolling through here, Mr. Wilburn came in here. So if I didn't see you, hi, Mr. Wilburn. Sorry, I missed you. But you got to make a video of what you're doing. You have to.
All right. Well, I will.
Good.
I will. I need to do something. Right now I'm in the process of getting a carburetor to somebody so I have enough cash so I can buy a roll cage.
That's awesome.
It's just it's so bad.
Yeah. But with that, we're getting really close to the end here. Really close because we're basically because we're coming up on. We started a little late, so we've got about a minute or so left here, and I don't want to go over because I think they charge you for the time over on this thing. I don't know, man, because it seems like sometimes the monthly charges change. Yeah,
I don't know, but how's this? It's been 2 hours.
Yeah,
See you guys next Wednesday.
Yeah, remember, we'll get this real quick. 38 Racing saying, do super stock springs a lot stiffer, or are they weakened enough to get the rear to give? The back end is weaker, but the front end is much stronger, and you can get them done by weight. So it's a 2,800-pound car. They have 3,000-pound car, and they have 3,200-pound cars, I think.
Dude, he should make his own for his S10. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's
Just
literally
stack
like half springs up front.
Yeah, it's half the springs up front. Just stack them so that way it doesn't bind, it doesn't walk. That's exactly what it does. Put more on the passenger side than you do on the driver's side. And Tom Brown is saying, "Oh yeah, cam number. I will remember, and I'll give it to Dallas, or you just give me the number and I'll get it over to you."
Yeah.
But with that, it's been 2 hours. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was
Actually,
fun.
we're cheating them because we need overtime 5 minutes. We were not
We're
streaming.
over. No, it's not.
I know I'm teasing. I'm just teasing. It's 2 hours right now. Okay.
So, all right, guys. Well, with that, you guys have a great week. We enjoy doing this. We're doing this just for you guys. Like I said, we take all the ads off. We're not doing this for any monetary. We're just doing this for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you got any questions about this stuff, anything in here, I'll find out some more information on the other stuff that came out that did make it in the catalog. We'll do that again next week, and then we'll go from there. So you got any last call? Go see Mr. John Wilburn on his channel on Friday night, 7 Central. And then Buff and Kim, they're always doing an In the Garage, but they have a Tuesday night that they do at 7. But any Friday night, Saturday night, whatever, I'm in here in the garage. I turn them on. They're fun to watch. So,
all right. See you cats next Wednesday.
Yeah, you guys take it easy. Have a good week.
Wax on, wax off.